channel and our program, which is Insight. My guest today is Bishop Fianco. Kindly, Bishop, may you introduce yourself to the people?
All right, my name is Bishop S.K. Fianco Labi. I'm a Ghanaian missionary, and I'm the Bishop for the Church of Pentecost in Kenya. I'm a public health pharmacist by profession.
Okay. So, today we are having our first topic, which is struggling or suffering in silence. Because we have noticed that people are really suffering in silence. Someone is passing through hardships, but they cannot speak out. So today, we want to know, Bishop, the first thing, is this thing existing?
Yes, a lot of people are suffering in silence. Yeah, if you look at the rate of suicide going on, before somebody will even commit suicide, it means they've been bottling a lot of things for a long time. Yeah, so even in the news, people bottling and, killing people, it's an indication that they are suffering in silence.
Yeah.
Because most of the things that will happen in the physical normally has happened at the emotional and the mental stage already. And if it has not been allowed to come out, then it's, finds displacement in other areas such as suicide, murder. So it's something that is really happening across the world. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much. Now we know that this thing is really existing. People are really committing suicides. People are suffering outside. You may find someone in the streets, don't know what happened to them, but behind them they have a good story of what happened to their life. So what are some of the causes? What causes this silent? Why are people silent? Why are they not able to speak out while they are suffering?
Basically, there is the fear of condemnation.
Yeah.
Society kind of places a lot of pressure on people. Society wants you to conform to a certain norm, to do things the way they want. So people are afraid. If I come out and people know my story, are they going to judge me by the story, or they are going to support me?
Okay.
And sometimes too, their fear is founded on an experience. Maybe they've trusted somebody in the past before, but the person betrayed them. So it becomes very difficult for them to be able to now trust somebody again. So they try to deal with the issue. And if they don't have a strong spirituality of, laying their burdens on Christ, now they try to deal with the issue themselves, and they end up, the issue end up overcoming them. So that means that society must not place condemnation on people, especially Christians. We should have empathy, that is putting yourself in the shoes of others, and we should have compassion, the willingness to help people come out of their problem, rather than making the new news or the new, information out there, selling it here and there. And that is why people are afraid. They would rather suffer in silence than suffer publicly in shame.
Okay, now, due to this suffering, sometimes you will see someone, you may think that they are okay, they are doing well in their life, but inside, deep inside them, they know, I'm passing through 1, 2, 3. And those people, really, they are looking for people to share their story with them. Sometimes they get to a point where, oh, I cannot see someone to share my story with. Maybe my close friends are not trustworthy with my secret story. And now they end up getting into such things like suicide, and others get lose their destinies in the process. So now at least we know this thing exists. Number 2, we know what causes some threats in the community, maybe in the church. Now, when you have this in mind, you can see, how can you tell someone is passing through a difficult situation?
Yeah, often they have a change in their appearance, especially if you've known them to be somebody who is lively, somebody who expresses their, feelings and emotions, and all of a sudden you begin to see changes of withdrawal. Now, when they come into public, they want to be alone. Sometimes they are crying. You see that moody atmosphere around them. These are some of the indicators to know that this person is not as he or she is, and there's the need for us to, pray for them and also draw closer to them to see how we can help.
Okay, sometimes you see there are people who are very vibrant in life.
Yeah.
That person is very social,
Yeah.
and they meet you on the way, they greet you,
Yeah.
how are you, I'm fine, like that. They are very happy with their life. But sometimes you see someone is diminishing, they even fear to greet people.
Yeah.
When they find people talking, they just want to isolate themselves.
Yeah.
That's one of the
that's very major. You know, the change in how their appearance and behavior is a key indicator to know that something is wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at least now we know that most of the factors that we see people applying on their lives, that people become less vibrant, they don't want to speak to people, they don't want to socialize. Those are some of the causes, some of the signs rather, the why people are passing through hard situations. So in this case, what is that thing that you should be able to speak out? Because we know some situations are wider, rather they are difficult to handle alone, and they need someone to help us. We have people in the church, in the community where you live, everywhere, but there are some people you cannot tell your issues. Because some people think that if I tell my friend this thing, they might end up gossiping about me around with other people, maybe speaking bad things about me, but who am I supposed to approach if I have a difficult situation?
Alright, no one is an island. And you can never say that everybody around you is bad. Yeah, we have grown through many stages. So every environment you find yourself, every community you find yourself, you should be able to identify one person or two people that you can trust. For instance, the basic principle is that as Christians, when you are going through a situation, you pray about the situation, and then you ask the Lord to guide you to somebody who is trustworthy. Who is a trustworthy person? A trustworthy person is somebody who is not into gossips. And if you're in a local church, you as you move around and you're active in fellowship, you will see that, oh, there's two people I can. You test them with, you don't go too much detail. At least you give them an overview. Sometimes you can even refer to it as a friend who is going through the situation rather than yourself. And see how they manage that information. If they manage it maturely, then you go a bit deeper, then you go a bit deeper until the position where you say, in fact, all that I've been telling you is me. Yeah, so you test them. If you realize that they are mature, they're able to manage the situation well, then you go deeper. Trust must be earned. But you love everybody, but trust must be earned. Trust is I give you an information and I see how you handle it, then I go deeper. So that is how you have to approach it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. Now again, when someone is passing through this situation, some of the time they may even affect, like if I am a mother and I am passing through a hard situation, I have children with me, there are close people, maybe I have a young sister with me, and sometimes this thing affects me to such an extent that somehow, even in the house, I am not behaving normally, and to some extent it can create some sense to the kids, like, is mom okay? Is everything going okay? So how should you handle yourself to make sure that whatever is happening in your life doesn't affect the children you live with, or those people who don't understand the things that happen in life?
All right. So everybody must be taught, and I think one of the topics that must be taught and awareness must be created on is what we call emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to manage your emotions in a way that it will not affect how you see life and how you see people. That is different from bottling. Yeah, you try to, all right, I have this problem, but it's time to cook. At least let me put the problem down and cook. When I finish, I come back to brood. I have this problem, my child is, needs attention. Don't use the problem to affect the child, or don't use the problem not to give the children food or to do the things you're supposed to do. And we can even tell that even there's many people, no matter the situation they're going through, they still go to office. If they are tellers at the bank and they are at the bank, at least they are working when they come home. So the ability to separate your emotions from everyday life is very, very important.
Yeah.
Rather than, being bogged down. Of course, if you are a manager in an office, you can't go and say, oh, this guys, I'm so suffering, I can't do work today. You're trying to manage yourself. So managing yourself is very important. And then, as we said, you find someone, you pray about it, of course, and then you find someone credible and trustworthy to at least begin the process of conversing about the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, so at least now we are enlightened. And again, sometimes people say, because I've been passing through this and this and that, I feel like I should stay alone. People should just leave me alone. I handle my situations alone. And because if they look around, they cannot see someone to help. Then they finally say, I'm giving up. I'm giving up. If it's a matter of marriage, they feel like, oh, let me just pack my things and go. And they give up in whatever thing they are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's about education, you see someone drops out of the school just because of the things they are facing, maybe the school fees not being paid, they are facing a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So they give up, and someone drops from school, someone gets away from their marriage. Should we go to that extent of giving up?
If you want to be alone to manage your problems and issues, it is not wrong. We interpret issues. The issue you interpreted negatively yesterday, you might interpret it differently today.
Yeah.
So if you're alone and you're going to have a positive reflection, trying to see the good side of the issue, that is fine. But if your interpretation and reflection is negative, it is affecting you, it is bringing you down, then the advice is that you need help. Some of us, like me for instance, most of the time I'm able to handle my issues because I pray about it, I reflect, look at the positive side, and look at how I can go on. I talk to my wife, we discuss, conversation, and then we move on. But if you are not able to do that, all your interpretation is giving you a negative image, negative perception of the future, then it's affecting your health. You shouldn't die. Everybody is going through problems. Problem will end one day. Everybody is going through problems. So you shouldn't allow problems to cut your life short. You lose a lot. You gain nothing by cutting your life short. And it even affects your loved ones around. So seek help when you know that your interpretation to issues is becoming increasingly negative and it is pushing you down. You need to seek help.
Okay. Now we have this person, yeah? I am suffering. I have a bigger brother who is seeing what I am going through. Yes, they may be willing to help, but now it's like they're like, should I help my sister? Should I help my friend? Should I do this? But they feel like if they intervene, the situation might get worse. But they feel like, I feel like I should help, but how should someone do about it? Because we have friends who are suffering. We feel like we can help, but again, we lack the confidence.
All right.
What should we do about it?
We are speaking as Christians from where every issue has different dimension. What I'm saying, somebody with a different philosophy will approach it differently. So we are speaking from the perspective of Christians. If you see someone going through challenge, not even seeing the person going through challenge, our friends and family, we should be praying for them. When you start praying for somebody, something happens. God begins to reveal things about them to you. And then gives you wisdom and strength on how to approach them. So if you have prayed for the person, the Lord will begin to tell you issues about the person. He will open your eyes to see what they are going through. And then He will give you the courage and the wisdom to approach them. You don't approach them with condemnation. Oh, why is your face like this? You don't do that. You approach them with empathy and compassion. I see that today you are very quiet at work. What's going on? Is there any way I can help? Is there any prayer topic I can pray about for you? Do you want to talk? Can we sit somewhere? I mean, isn't it sweet the way I said it? Yeah, so
very sweet.
Yeah, so at least the person will begin to build trust. Maybe initially she'll say, well, maybe I'll talk to you about it later. But you continue to pray for them. When they see that you are genuinely interested to help them and not to get news to go and spread, they'll begin to open up. And then you don't force them through. If they want to weep, let them weep. Yeah, don't say, oh, don't cry, don't cry. No, let them weep. Let them go through the process. Yours is to give them a positive interpretation. It is going to be well, everything will be fine. You just relax, let's continue to pray. So you give them perspective and let them express themselves. Sometimes they don't need an advice at all. Not everybody needs an advice. They just want to talk. Unfortunately, some people, when people are talking, their emotion, they're advising them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let them be free and talk. And then you give them perspective, everything will be fine. I'm praying with you. I'm sure the situation will change. With time, it will be like a bottle with dirty water that you are pouring clean water. As you keep pouring, the dirty water will begin to change. And then they'll have natural healing. Rather than forcing them to be healed. And you don't force them, let them go through their process. And then they'll be able to be stabilized.
Wow, that's so nice. So viewers, you've seen and you have heard with your own ears that every situation is not final. Whatever you're going through, it's not taking you to your grave, but everything has a solution. So, in this episode, we've learned that we should approach our problems in a positive perception. Not everything that we should take personal, like, I'm going through this, let me just go through it alone. There are people who are able to help. There are people who are ready to help. And through prayers and intercession, you can get someone. God can guide you through to someone who can really help you, as you have said. So it's not that because you're going through a certain process, let us not see you at the end of the story trying to commit suicide. Let's not see you in the streets. You have already given up. So open up when it's early enough for someone to intervene. And I hope those who are going through difficult situations, you get this story well, that you can get someone who is really ready to help you. Viewers, if you have anything to comment, please go to our channel, comment down there. Thank you very much. Let's meet for next episode, which will be coming up. We are still on the same topic of suffering in silence. And God will bless you as you watch.